every sign, every planet has some kind of influence on relationships. Typically we look at Venus to see mutuality and exchange, but the moon and Mercury and the outer planets and Saturn all contribute to this experience of relationship. As you can see here, I am using the outer planet as rulers. I do consider the traditional planets as well, but for the sake of looking at these archetypes, I chose to focus on the outer planet for Scorpio, Aquarius, and Pisces. So this is not just, this is not the whole story. This is just a general overview. I also look at Juno, an asteroid. Some of you may be very familiar and use it. Juno is central to relationship. It's as important as Venus. As far as I can see, both in transits of Juno will activate relationship dynamics, new connections, and whatever the needs are. So do pay attention to also compatibility, doing synastries using Juno, because sometimes you will see that Juno, if you analyze the chart of a couple and you see a couple, people who really get along very well, and there's not much going on in their chart, but they have Juno aspects that are very precise. And sometimes it's really boils down to Juno. So it's not as minor as we often, refer to asteroid as a secondary influence. In this case, it may be as potent as the 10 planets. But as we say, all planets do have their own influence. If we speak about Venus, we speak about Venus ruling Taurus, and we speak about Venus ruling Libra. From a Taurus point of view, the side of Venus refers to the need to really get in touch with ourselves, with our resources, and when I say resources, it's our physical strength, our body as a resource, being able to also have land, have food, survive. So Taurus has to do with our relationship with the things that we feel are important. It's our value system, which also means it's our priorities. So when you look at Venus from a Taurus point of view, the sign that it's in will tell us where do we put our value, and not just value in external things, but value in ourselves and our self-worth. So for example, if I have Venus in Leo, my self-worth is defined by my creativity, by my ability to accomplish things, by my ability to lead, all these Leo attributes. So if someone with Venus in Leo is doing something really purposeful with their lives, and they have, they're very creative as entrepreneurs or as artists, that Venus will get good points. If on the other hand, I have Venus in Leo and I'm not doing much with my life, I will have low self-esteem. If I have Venus in Gemini, my self-esteem, is conditioned by my intellectual capacities and my education. So wherever your Venus is and whatever is in your second house will determine where, what is your self-worth um, relying on? What do you attribute value to in yourself? And that doesn't guarantee that it's going to be a happy story. Like I said, it can also show deficiency and therefore lack of self-esteem. But it's a very important dynamic because once you find yourself and you understand your value, that's how you can engage with others, with the Libra side of Venus. And the Libra side of Venus is what I do not have. With my Taurus side of Venus, I see what I do have. And it's what I do have internally and externally. I often use the analogy of what can I grow on my piece of land, Taurus. I can grow tomatoes, I can grow cucumbers. If I live in a Mediterranean climate, I can grow certain things, but I cannot grow papayas and I cannot grow, passion fruit. So what do I do? I can live in my Taurus reality and say I'm self-sufficient. Taurus is the sign of self-sufficiency. It's a sign that doesn't like to depend on others, that needs to, like I say, grow their own food, grow their own internal world, and they have a very rich inner world. Taurus is territorial, and that means their space is very important because it's not just a psychological need to be alone, but it's also a physical need to protect what they have. So from a Taurus point of view, the question is, do I really need people? If I can grow my own stuff and if I can sustain myself, why do I need people? And that's where Libra comes in. And Libra says, well, there are things you can't grow. There are things you can't do. There are things that are beyond your scope. And so through Libra, we experience lack. We experience what we don't have. So then we engage with others who can give us what we don't have. So that balance between Taurus and Libra is a healthy balance. It's a necessary interplay. Now, if the Taurus side is not functional and you have low self-esteem and you don't feel like you have anything, how can you engage with others? You're going to have nothing to offer. It's like going to the farmer's market and you don't have anything to trade. So Libra can, is the ability to get something from someone else, something you don't have, but in return they need something from you. So that's the healthy negotiation and exchange that pulls us in relationship and make us feel like we need others. And from a romantic point of view, from a business point of view, whatever, the need to create an alliance is about. Now, you will often hear, and rightfully so, that Mercury has to do with commerce, and that's true. But Libra and Venus has to do with a satisfying exchange because Venus has to do with satisfaction. So with this Taurus side, you're satisfied with yourself. And with the Libra function, you're satisfied by receiving something and giving something of equal value. And the big question is, how do you measure value when you're trading in your farmer's market or in your relationship? If I grow tomatoes and cucumbers and you're growing papayas, and we want each other's products, how do we know how many tomatoes for a papaya? That is why Libra has to do with relativity. It depends on the availability. It depends on the value of what you're offering. So if you come from the Taurus side with high esteem, and if you feel like your tomatoes are the best, you're going to be able to have a good exchange, what we call the value of your currency. Now, this, of course, is not just about tomatoes and papayas. It's also about emotions. It's also about what we seek in a partner and how satisfied we feel in the receiving and giving that we do in relationships. This is why Libra is about balance, because it's about feeling that the giving and taking is balanced, that you receive something of a, that is worth what you're giving, and you don't feel depleted and you don't feel taken advantage of. So Venus is obviously going to be central in our relationship analysis.